What up, y'all? It's FortWorthFabian, BigBossFabo. I'm back with a video for the channel, man. I was actually recording for 5 minutes without realizing I didn't even have the mic hooked up. So, man, this is kind of take two right now. So, anyways, well, we are doing a reaction to Explore With Us, the Explore With Us channel, man. Be sure to check out the Explore With Us playlist. I got several reactions of videos and content. If you're into the crime series, criminology, documentary series, things of that nature, check out the Explore With Us playlist. Link provided in the description as well as pinned in the comment section down below, man. Well, today, we have a reaction to when a teen killer is excited to reenact his crimes. And I ain't gonna lie, I was like 5 minutes in, Buddy was too excited. Bro was too excited to detail, basically to tell on himself. You know what I'm saying? So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, man. Let's go ahead and hop right into the video. Not waste any more time.
I didn't know what to do anymore, so I just snapped. See if I grab his head, boom, pull the bolt back. I'm thinking, how fast am I gonna run? I was like, if anyone in that house deserved it, I did. He just dropped, and I heard blood just pouring out of his head. He's assaulted me before. He's done so many different things wrong to me. My grandma looks over, and she's like, what's going on? Boom.
This is an emergency. We noticed a window off the side, and one person went in and looked and discovered a body.
Okay, do you know who it is?
Yes, Janet and Rick Sweet.
On May 13th, 2012, the family of Rick and Janet Sweet made a horrific discovery at the couple's home in Manchester, Iowa. They had no idea the dark secrets that were soon to be uncovered. But in this twisted case, it was the police who were left shocked at the admissions of a too honest killer, a killer who you will hear from in an exclusive, never-before-heard interview. The relatives of Rick and Janet Sweet had planned to celebrate Mother's Day, as was their yearly tradition. But as the family approached the house that day, they instantaneously felt that something was very wrong. This feeling was confirmed when they knocked on the door and no one answered. Immediately, they noticed that one of the windows had been shattered, but in no way could they predict the gruesome findings that lay inside. Peering through the broken glass, they glimpsed a horrifying sight. Rick and Janet were inside, both in pools of blood on their couch, murdered in their own home. Shocked and in a panic, a call to 911 was quickly made.
There is apparently a body inside, and I noticed a gunshot through the window, and so rather than go in and explore, we're calling you.
But a burning question lingered in the air.
Something like, who called the feds? Who called the police? I thought the police arrived and investigated, but these are probably the neighbors. Let me know y'all's thoughts on this in the comment section, man. If it's a 3 individual household and 2 individuals are dead, you obviously is looking for the last individual, the last person. So that's common.
Who could have committed such an evil act? The horror of the discovery was made all the worse as the investigation began. Rick and Janet's family members quickly informed the police that there was one person still unaccounted for, the couple's 17-year-old grandson, Isaiah Sweet, who lived in the home with them. Fearing that he may have met a similarly grisly end, authorities began looking for the missing teen, but they never could have imagined what they would uncover when they finally caught up with Isaiah. On May 14th, the day after the bodies were found, Isaiah was finally located in Cedar Rapids after previously driving 75 miles to Iowa City. Apparently, the teenager was spotted walking towards a park and was quickly pursued by nearby officers. Isaiah seemingly tried to outrun them, but quickly surrendered once he heard the sound of police dogs on his trail.
Damn.
Now knowing that no harm had come to Isaiah, at least not the kind that his grandparents had suffered, the police were eager to hear if he had any insight into the horrific crime. He was promptly brought in for an interview. You'll notice that Isaiah is in handcuffs, and you'll soon understand why.
Put those things off you. Probably feel a little bit better. Oh, yeah. You're gonna be good with me, right? Yes, sir. All right.
The detective offers to remove Isaiah's handcuffs as a gesture of goodwill and to try and build positive rapport with him. This also serves the purpose of removing the
This is my thing. There's always that good cop, bad cop type of story, you know, the whole narrative that they talk about. But my thing is, bro, if I'm hypothetically speaking, if I'm a criminal, I do not care about how you trying to approach me and be friendly with me, especially if I know I've done some type of crime, bro, and at this point I know I'm caught. I'm not worried about being cool with you. I don't care if you're trying to build rapport, bro. You know, some people, they feed off of that from the police. So, you know, a lot of them fold in those situations. They end up snitching or whatever it may be, or exposing themselves. But then you got individuals who kind of stay solid and 10 toes and don't really say too much. They're going to take the bid for the crimes committed. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to really try to incriminate themselves or say too much. So I don't see myself as an individual really worrying about what the police is trying to do in terms of be cool with me and try to show me respect because it builds rapport. I would not care, bro.
Constant reminder that Isaiah is in police custody, which may help him feel more comfortable.
I'm gonna shut this thing for privacy, okay?
Yes, sir.
Grab some of that food, okay, Isaiah? Isaiah, since we haven't officially met, hey, my name's Scott
Hey,
Rieger.
how you doing,
I'm
sir?
an agent with the IODC. I am a police officer. I never don't look like it. But
Shake his hand, all type of shit. Hey, bud, we're gonna get you some food too. How you doing, son? No, bro. Oh man, I don't even know if I would shake his hand though. I mean, I guess you got to be cordial. But
I figure this
What
is
would
a little
y'all
bit more
do?
comfortable for me. So
After this, is there any way I can go to the hospital for this? I cut it open on a rusty fence, and
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure
Absolutely.
I'm worried about tetanus.
Yep, nope, absolutely.
Isaiah isn't being interviewed in a typical interrogation room, but instead is in what appears to be the detective's office. This isn't ideal, as there are numerous distractions that will be a constant reminder of where he is.
uh-huh.
I'm going to show you this here. This is called a statement
we're
of
not
rights
friends,
and
bro.
acknowledgement of the waiver, okay?
Right to remain
Read this
silent.
to you.
Anything I say can and will be used against
Yep.
me in a court of law. Right to an attorney if I cannot afford one will be appointed to me.
You've got those things down already,
Yes, sir.
don't you? Okay, let me read these to you. Is that all right?
All right.
All right.
This-
Isaiah may be trying to show off or appear smart by reciting his Miranda rights. However, all he's done is prove that he's quite familiar with the criminal justice process, possibly due to past encounters with police. Regardless,
Facts.
it's the
Okay.
detective who must read Isaiah his Miranda rights, and he agrees to continue talking without a lawyer being present.
That's what I'm saying, bro. What are you doing? Hey, be sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out the Explore With This playlist, link provided in the description down below.
Go ahead. Now down. When was the last time you had something to eat?
4 days ago.
You haven't eaten anything in 4 days? Right. And we got more food, so if you wallow that stuff down, you want to keep going, we've got more food, we can keep it
Damn,
coming.
you guys made me feel like I
Okay.
didn't do anything wrong.
Why do you say that?
Well, let's put it like this. I'm not going to be lying to you guys about anything you ask me.
And I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay?
Isaiah appears to be taken
Shakes
off
his
guard
hand
by the
again,
warm
bro.
treatment from the detective, especially when it comes to being offered additional food. This puts the detective in a very good position, and Isaiah may be more inclined to
I don't know. That's the thing. I think Buddy just thinks he's too smart because you're giving the detective exactly what he wants. Answer my questions and answer them honestly. That's all they ask, bro. To be honest with you, the feds just want you to fess up to what you did. So point being, I think he thinks he's smart enough to maneuver around the questions, but we already know Buddy's not gonna be that smart.
give him the information
is
he
not that
wants
smart.
to continue to receive this kind of treatment.
They're not going to take this from me, are they?
What is it?
This is a real Rolex.
Okay, where'd you get that from?
I found it in a hobeless tent.
Gotta roll.
Down there?
Yeah, in CR.
Okay, we'll just keep it up there and we'll probably deal with that later.
Cops, there was like 4 or 5 cops. And
In Cambridge?
Yep. Looking for me.
Okay.
And one of them came up to me, started talking to me, asked if I knew where I was. And I was like, no.
So he
I
didn't
don't even-
recognize you
Yeah, I
at
was
all?
like, no, I don't even know where
come
he's
on,
at. Like, I had my hair back to here,
Now, what would have been one of the reasons you were pulling your hair back?
trying to not be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
At first, he was asking if I saw the other cops, and I was like, nope. And then he was like, do you know who Isaiah Sweet is? And I was like, no idea.
Not a clue who that is. What are you thinking the whole time he's asking that?
I'm thinking, how fast am I going to run? As soon as he walks away from me.
What I want you to do right now is just kind of relax. Go ahead and eat that food. Kind of mount down. Like I said, I want to kind of start and kind of walk back through some things first.
All right.
Okay?
More than anything, I want to know what the brought me to, what I did, what's wrong with me.
Sure. Then, you know...
Like, I'm about to start bawling.
Okay. Hey, Isaiah. If you cry, that's totally fine, man. I respect that. Okay.
Son, I want to go back so bad.
How come?
Because I loved them so much. They didn't deserve that.
How come they didn't deserve it?
If anyone in that house deserved it, I did. More than anyone.
Y'all think this like split personality, or I guess it is common for every criminal, or I guess every murderer, to kind of have a point of return in a sense to where they kind of evaluate their morals and what they've done. You know what I mean? Regardless how. But then you do have some like cold-hearted killers. But at the end of the day, there are some criminals, killers that have some sort of remorse at a point in time. I don't know if I believe them though. How about y'all?
You take your time, brother.
They raised me since I was 4, and I would fade them with.
Damn.
Janet and Rick had taken custody of Isaiah when he was just 4 years old,
did him like that,
due
my
to their
boy?
daughter's inability to care for him. Stacy Sweet, Isaiah's mother, had allegedly suffered from substance abuse and could no longer support her young son. But her parents were more than willing to take him into their home. Immediately, Isaiah will answer one of the questions looming over the investigation. But even with this reveal, there are even more disturbing questions left to be uncovered.
When you say what happened that night at the house, what happened?
Shot both of them.
Okay. What'd you shoot him with, Isaiah?
An assault rifle.
An assault rifle? You remember what it looks like?
Black.
Okay. What
Black, bolt action, 10 or more round clip. It's Czechoslovakian.
Okay.
AR-15.
Okay. Okay. It takes a lot to admit that, Isaiah. Okay. That's not an easy thing to do. Okay, and Isaiah,
I'm not gonna play dumb with you.
Okay, and I appreciate that.
Although Isaiah has just admitted to killing his grandparents, the detective so desperately wants to get to the bottom of how this horrific crime came to be.
What's the motive?
In doing so, he ensures that there is nothing preventing Isaiah from answering any question that may be thrown his way.
How you feeling, right? I mean, you're with me right now,
I feel
right?
like I don't really know much, but
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Isaiah. You understand who I am.
yes, sir.
You understand I'm a police officer.
Yes, sir.
You understand that the guys who brought you up here, why they had to
Yes,
find
sir.
you, okay, and they brought you up there. There's nothing medically right now that's preventing you to talk to me,
No, sir.
right? But you understand the questions I'm asking you right
Hey,
now?
bro, he's
Okay,
psychotic,
there's no-
though. He
there's
a
no
lunatic.
question
What you
that
talking
you're not
about?
smart enough to handle these
I'm
questions.
extremely intelligent.
Okay. And you know what? I get that. I think you
I
are.
just make stupid choices.
Yeah. And sometimes we do, Isaiah. Look at me.
I'm never gonna be able to go back on it.
No. And that's, you know what, Isaiah, part of this is what you're doing today by telling me the whole truth as far as what happened, not only what's leading up to it, but what happened during it. I know.
And you know what, son? It's gonna be okay. Just tell me what you did, and bro, it's like a heart to heart like type moment. I don't know. I think it's because he's a kid. Was he like 17 years old? But I think there's some type of mental illness there that they'd evaluate prior to just sentencing him and giving him some type of like textbook years or something, like football numbers. I don't know. I think he's gonna get that regardless. But wondering if where he is, he's considered a minor still.
It's going to be tough to walk through. We need to do that, okay? And then we need to talk about what happened afterwards, okay? All the details we need with this. This
I don't
is your
think so,
chance
though.
to start healing yourself on the inside. Walk me through Friday. What's going on Friday? Walk me through the time you wake up on Friday morning. We'll kind of walk through
Friday.
My friend used to pay $163 for car insurance. Now look how much he pays.
When someone's gaze drifts to the left after they're
Boy,
asked
it's
the
about to
question,
lie.
this generally indicates that there is some inner dialogue going on in their head. This doesn't necessarily mean they're being deceptive. However, detectives will take note of this behavior.
I sat at home on house arrest all day.
Okay,
And
were Grandpa
then-
and Grandma home?
And then I went down to the basement, up the there's a door that goes into the garage from the basement. I went up to the garage and then in their room, took the assault rifle out of their room. And then I loaded it with 10 bullets, walked up the stairs, took like a point like this, had earmuffs on and everything. I took a point like this, stepped up one stair so I could see my grandpa's head. Boom, pulled the trigger back, pulled the bolt back, shot my grandpa twice in the head.
Where was your grandpa sitting?
They were both sitting on the couch.
Okay. And where were you at?
I was on the stairs coming up
Like coming up from that landing? Okay, because I've heard, I haven't been inside your house, but you know, some of the guys were up there the other day and they're kind of going through it.
hollow point assault rifle rounds. And then I went up to him and I just broke down, started crying. I told him how much I loved him.
Apparently, the teenager was heading down a tumultuous path filled with partying, substance abuse, and rebellious behavior. During his high school years, Isaiah had supposedly begun to fraternize with a crowd of older kids, where he used substances such as marijuana and methamphetamine. Along with this, he allegedly possessed severe learning disabilities, making his education all the tougher to accomplish. Unfortunately, this only led to further issues, as Isaiah dropped out of high school at the age of 16. It seemed that after this, the unruly teen's dangerous actions were beginning to manifest at home. During the course of the last year leading up to the horrendous crime, Janet and Rick had called the police 18 separate times on account of Isaiah's unpredictable nature. On one occasion, that in hindsight would foreshadow the events that followed, Isaiah threatened to kill his grandfather and hurt his grandmother, along with burning the house down. On September 8, 2011, police once again made their way to the infamous house to try and stop the emerging incident. They instructed Isaiah to calm down, but instead of obeying the command, the angry teenager retaliated by going at his grandparents once more, before being handcuffed and placed on a couch. It's reported that once calm, Isaiah was informed that he would be charged if the officers had to return to the house. Numerous other encounters consisted of the same nature: violence, substance use, and...
This is my thing, though. I got to say this real quick before we continue, bro. A lot of people blame, actions and character on substance abuse. And, maybe, but I think that's a, like an out people use because ideally, this is why I'll say that, some people just aren't mentally capable. They're just not mentally strong enough to get through things like in a certain capacity. Like if you experiment with drugs, if you do certain things and it influences your mind and your thoughts and your actions consistently over time, I will honestly say you just weak-minded. You're not mentally strong enough. You're not mentally tough enough. There's a lot of folks who've gone through substance abuse, done certain things and haven't become ingrates or pretty much just problems to society. There's never been a consistent pattern with that, but a lot of people like to coincide the two, saying, "Oh, it's substance abuse," and I think a portion of it could be, but then a portion of it is just weak-minded people letting things just take them off the deep end. Now, is that always controllable? Probably not. So you just got to know whether or not you mentally tough enough. But some people just are not meant to be doing any type of stuff like that.
At one point, Isaiah was supposedly threatening Rick and Janet so much that they wanted him to be placed in foster care. But they were promptly notified that this wasn't an option, as Isaiah's mother would have to be the one to take him in, which the grandparents did not want. On April 11, 2012, the most recent call to the police was made due to the fact that the teenager was using a lighter and aerosol to make a blowtorch inside the house. When police arrived, Janet insisted that rather than arresting Isaiah, she simply wanted him under control. The officers helped to calm the situation before they left without incident. Another call to law enforcement occurred when the grandparents suspected that Isaiah had...
How you gonna always call the police to get your children or your child under control? If you're not gonna want them to arrest him, you need to learn how to get him under control, because they can't make these visits 20 to 30 times in a month over a 2-month span just to pretty much discipline or parent your child. That's something you got to be able to do and take in your own hands. Honestly speaking, that's just how I see that. If you can't take care of a kid, then put them up for adoption or something. But you can't call the police over to parent your child. They got real things to be worried about.
Been using illegal substances. which was confirmed once a search discovered a marijuana pipe within the residence.
But he was smoking dope.
Despite the history of police calls, Isaiah tells a very different story of this turbulent period in his life, and you'll hear it all for yourself.
I've tried to kill myself every single night since it happened.
Take your time, man.
It's possible that Isaiah is seeking attention or sympathy from the detective.
I just want to know what's wrong with me.
Well, would you agree that there's nothing wrong with you, Isaiah? Would you agree with me on that?
I don't know about that one.
From this standpoint, Isaiah, look at me, okay? Okay? I don't think that there's anything wrong with you.
I'm just going to prison for the rest of my life.
Well, Isaiah, let's not focus on that right now. Let's focus on getting past this thing right now as far as what happened, okay? If you can focus on those details with me, okay, we'll worry about all that other stuff later.
Nah.
Okay? You're a normal, smart kid, right? Okay, you're nodding in your head at me, yes, all right? And I've spent the last 2 days with a bunch of our other agents. We've been talking to people that know you. I haven't heard one person that said, you know what, that guy's a moron. You're a smart guy. Okay, would you agree with me? Oh, we've talked to all your friends. Okay, people that used to know you from school.
Okay.
Okay, and Isaiah, the story that...
We talked to your teacher. We talked to your Sunday school teacher. We talked to your third grade buddy. We talked to the whole gang. Bro, you did not talk to anybody. He's telling you a fabricated story right now.
They're telling us is that you're a pretty smart kid. Would you agree?
Really intelligent.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think that there's anything
I took
wrong.
an ACT preset stick, got a 32.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. But you would agree with me there's nothing wrong with you, right?
Just whatever came over me other than that, though.
Okay.
The detective may be trying to confirm that there is nothing wrong with Isaiah that could potentially indicate that he was not in his right mind when he committed the murders.
Psychotic.
At the same time, it's possible that he's flattering Isaiah about his intelligence as a way to build rapport.
Let me ask you about this. I think you mentioned that you went downstairs into the basement. Which did you go for first? Did you go for the rifle or did you go for the ammunition? Walk me through that.
Okay. When I went downstairs,
first acted out.
I was just gonna hit them both in the head with a bat.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be so messy, you know. It wouldn't be gunshot from an extremely loud assault rifle.
Sure. What's going through your mind when you're making that choice?
When I came up right behind my grandpa when he was washing dishes with a bat in my hand. I put it right behind his head. Came back like this, and I couldn't do it.
That night?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he notice you were back there?
And I came up behind him about 15 different times, and he didn't notice me once.
What about your grandma?
Nope.
That's crazy. Buddy must be clueless. Or he just old, you know?
Emotionally, it would be much more difficult to kill someone with an object like a bat or knife. It would most likely take numerous strikes to actually kill the victim, so the perpetrator would see their facial expressions and reactions as they were attacked. This may have been part of the reason why Isaiah chose a murder weapon that would almost guarantee a quick finish. It also creates physical distance between the perpetrator and the victim, making it easier to carry out the act.
Okay. Where was Grandma at?
She was out in the room.
What was she doing? She was sleeping. Okay.
The gunshot woke her up.
Okay. The gunshot when you shot your grandpa?
She didn't know what to do. She looked over.
Didn't he say? I swear he switched his stories twice. At first, he said he crept up the steps and he shot his grandma in the head twice. His grandpa was sitting next to her. Now he's talking about he shot his grandpa first. I'm confused. I think he's just switching up the story at this point.
Brain was hanging out of his head. Like, I'm not even being exaggerative at all.
Sure, and I wasn't up there.
Like, this whole part of his head right here was gone. And then my grandma's right here, all that was gone.
Okay. Did when you, and we're kind of getting away from that, I know we're going to do that, okay? Go ahead and take a bite of your sandwich.
Eating a sandwich, telling a whole fabricated story at the same time. Buddy multitasking right now. I don't see, there's got to be some sense of psychosis, how you want to say, psychological issues to even be in this state of mind and be able to do the certain things. I don't think a lot of people will be able to do this, like be cool eating a whole meal and crying and telling a story and after just going through a very traumatic moment.
It'll kind of help calm you down a little bit too. when you went down to go get, you went and got the ammo first, right? Or you went and got
I went and got the gun. Okay, this was after I had beat out with the bat.
Okay.
Went, got the assault rifle, brought it down in the basement, got in the ammo box, it's in the basement. There's over 3,000 rounds for that assault rifle in there.
Does he keep his ammo down there? So you knew his ammunition was downstairs. Yep. Okay. Does he keep it under lock and key or?
Nope.
Okay, so you knew that you have free access to it. Okay. And so what did you do next?
Got the hollow point rounds because I knew they'd do the most damage.
When asked by the detective why he chose the hollow points, Isaiah states that he didn't want his grandparents to go through any pain, indicating that he didn't intend to injure or maim them, but in fact clearly wanted them to die.
So you knew that the solid ones, they might have lived through those.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't want that.
Yeah. But what shot my grandpa, he just dropped, and I heard blood just pouring out of his head. My grandma looks over and she's like, "What's going on?" Boom. Shot right there, grazed her head, and she was still moving. So I shot her right here through her head.
How close were you, Isaiah?
I could have made the shot for 300 yards. I'm an amazing shot, but I was probably 10, 15 feet away, if that.
Okay.
Well, honestly, from the barrel of the gun to my grandpa's head, 6, 8 feet.
Next, the detective asks Isaiah why he wasn't able to go through with using the bat as the murder weapon.
Why'd you stop? Why didn't you use the bat?
Bring myself to put them through any sort of pain.
Okay. And I think you mentioned it would have been too messy too, right?
No, I didn't want it to be messy.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to do it with a bat.
Okay. Did you think the bat would be a cleaner way to kill him?
Cleaner.
Okay. Had you done any research on the internet about this, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of websites did you go to?
Let's put it like this. I was typing in best ways to kill somebody and all this And if I would have waited one more day, I would have killed him the cleanest way possible.
Which is what?
Nicotine poisoning.
This fool, he was counting.
And Isaiah, you understand that these are your grandparents. You know that they're human beings, they're people, right?
Yeah.
You're nodding your head at me, yeah. Okay. Is there any particular time why you only shot Grandpa once?
Because I heard blood pouring out of his head like
So you
a
knew
fire hydrant.
You knew he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And why the 2 shots with Grandma?
She moved right after I shot her.
Okay. Did she look at you? Or did she say anything after you
She
shot her?
twitched, and I thought maybe it's probably just the twitch they get after they die, where they just excrete on themselves.
Sure.
But
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
I just wanted to make sure because she was the only one that I actually cared about.
Okay. You think you were closer to your grandma than your grandpa? How long you been living with them?
Since I was 4.
Okay.
Honestly, I wish I would have myself that night.
How come?
Because they didn't deserve it, and I did.
When it's over, okay, and you know that did you check to see if they had a pulse? Did you check them at all?
My grandma's
Why would he
whole
do
side
that?
of her face was blown off, and so it's
Okay.
his. So his brain was on the coffee
Okay.
table.
But you didn't go over
No.
and just to double
I
check.
kissed both of them and then packed my left
Okay, why'd you kiss them?
because I love them.
Kissing his grandparents after killing them could be an indication that Isaiah may have had some sort of emotional response after all.
He was remorseful.
But at the same time, he may be lying, as he would have likely gotten blood on his face or clothes, and he made no mention of changing before packing his bag and leaving. If he is lying, he may be trying to present himself to the detective as remorseful or caring. Furthering this, Isaiah then states that after he had committed the unthinkable acts, he prayed for forgiveness.
Did you pray for forgiveness because you knew what you did was wrong?
Right away, I just did. Right away, I wanted to take it back. I don't know why I did it.
Okay. After that, you said you packed up some stuff and then you left. How much time did you spend in the house after they were shot?
Half an hour.
Okay.
Drove straight to Cedar Rapids. Met up with my ex-girlfriend. There, threw the assault rifle out on 13.
Okay. On Highway 13
Yep.
or?
Didn't see it on the way back, so.
Okay.
I figure if someone sees a really nice gun laying on the side,
They'll probably pick it up. Okay.
I'm surprised the police didn't find him for me.
Okay. Well, and we'll talk about that too. Okay.
This signals
He
that
said,
the
"Yeah,
detective may already have
got you."
knowledge regarding the murder weapon, and the
damn.
police might even have it in their possession.
Okay.
As you're getting stuff ready in the house, did you pick up any stuff? Take anything out?
My friend used to pay $163.
Wow, man. You think somebody picked up the gun though, or the feds picked it up?
This is the first time that there is a long pause prior to Isaiah responding. Long pauses are often associated with deception, especially if it's not typical of the person's speech patterns. When he finally gathers his thoughts, Isaiah states that he took his TV, knives, hydrocodone pills, and $9 from his grandparents after killing them. He goes on to describe what he did following the crime, which shockingly consisted of going to numerous parties with friends.
Are you wearing the same clothes that you were wearing Friday night?
Yes, sir.
So these are the same clothes that
Yes, sir.
you
The
shot
cops took
Grandpa
all
and
my
Grandma?
clothes. That's in the impound.
Okay. Well, are these the clothes that you were wearing when you shot your Grandpa and Grandma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any blood on them?
From my finger.
Okay. What happened to your finger? Oh, from that. But I mean from your.
Oh, actually, I was wearing sweatpants and no shirt when I shot him.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to get blood on these jeans or the shirt.
Because they're nice jeans.
There's no blood on anything. I made sure I didn't get any sort of DNA from either of them on me.
Okay.
This is a direct contradiction to his previous confession of kissing his grandparents after having shot them.
Yeah, he lying now.
If his claim of not wanting to get any blood or DNA on him is true, then he probably wouldn't have physically touched the victims.
Where did the blood go when you shot him?
Everywhere. Like, blood. Everywhere. Chunks of... Like, the house is massive. And there was, like, points where it's like, here's the couch.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's go to the kitchen 15 feet away, and there's a chunk of this big laying in there.
Can you go look at it?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I picked it up, and I looked at it, and I could see it was from my grandma.
Didn't that freak you out a little bit? Kinda.
I was like, oh, well, I'm a psychotic murderer anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
But you're not psychotic. I know you're not psychotic.
People often think that any murderer is
He definitely
psychotic,
contradicts
when in
himself.
actuality,
He definitely contradicting himself now, bro. He's talking about he didn't want to get DNA everywhere, but you picking up chunks of your grandma's head and stuff like that. I think he's trying to act cool in front of the detective, trying to act tough.
psychotic refers to a specific set of symptoms which may or may not be present in a killer. Psychotic generally refers to psychosis, which involves someone losing touch with reality. A person with psychosis may have hallucinations or delusions and is unable to distinguish between real life and the world inside their head. Isaiah hasn't reported any symptoms of psychosis, and he appears to be well aware of what he did, both at the time of the murders and now. The detective likely wants to put on record that Isaiah understands he was not psychotic when he killed his grandparents, so that it can be presented as evidence when the case goes to court.
I feel really good about myself being so compliant, though.
This guy.
You should. I mean, here's one of the things
People
too,
try to
Isaiah. I
kiss
want to
his
make
own
sure that
ass.
this is abundantly clear. Is that I know that as we talk through these things, don't embellish anything with me. Okay? You got to shoot me straight. Okay? I need to know. Okay, who was over at the house? Who you talked to? And it's not you snitching. You know what that is? It's you telling me the truth.
Are they going to get arrested? And
I have no control over whether or not they're going to
All
be
right,
arrested.
here, let's put it like this. There was
tell
one
him.
more gun, and
Okay.
I took that, but I didn't use it.
What gun was that?
Sawn off 12 gauge.
Okay. What'd you do with that?
Sold it.
Okay.
And then I gave the assault rifle to Brandon Allers, gave the TV to Brandon Allers.
So you didn't throw it? You didn't throw away
Nope. Nope.
the gun? Okay.
And they transported it out of town right away.
Okay. How come they transported it out of town?
Okay, they didn't want hot guns.
Did you tell them it was hot?
They knew I'd killed my grandparents. They came in the house right after it happened.
And why would Brandon be going over to your house on Sunday?
He wanted to steal the truck. The white truck.
Okay.
He wanted that white truck.
Did he talk to you about that?
Yep.
How did he talk to you about it?
He wanted to know where the title was. He wanted to know where everything was. Other it was my ass.
Okay. And did he tell you that, I mean, had you told him that you had killed your grandparents? Okay. And what did he say?
He was the one who gave me the nicotine poisoning suggestion.
I thought you said you got that over the internet.
Nope. That was him.
It's possible that rather than protecting other people as he claimed, he left this part out of the story for self-serving reasons. He may have known that there was no explanation for people being in the house after the murders that would fit with his narrative to the detective about how he was immediately remorseful.
If somebody told you what to do, I need to know that. If you found on the internet, I need to know that. But don't mix those two up, okay? You gotta shoot straight with me.
He told me about all this, and I looked it up on the internet.
Okay, when did he tell you about that?
Same day, Friday.
On Friday?
Yep.
What did you tell him?
I told him I just planned on killing him, taking some, leaving. He was like, "You're gonna give me that assault rifle and that sawn-off."
Isaiah tells the detective that immediately after shooting his grandparents, he went to pick up Damien, a friend of his, before supposedly bringing him to the crime scene. That fact that Isaiah brought his friend over to the house after committing the brutal act is disturbing to say the least. Isaiah now tells the detective that he took a sawed-off shotgun, a knife, the rifle, the truck, all of his toiletries, the TV, and some clothes from the house. Afterward, he drove Damien back to the house of their friend, Brandon's girlfriends. Then another detective enters the room with food for Isaiah before the two make small talk.
Well, honestly, I broke my phone in half a couple nights ago because Dalton calls me and he's like, "You killed your grandparents." And I was like, "Nope, never happened," just denied it all because one of my friends calling. I thought he was just with me, and then this girl sends me a picture of Burger Squad and a bunch of cops in front of my house. So I snapped my phone in half.
As they talk, Isaiah mentions something particularly tragic.
My mom doesn't even know what's going on right now. Kind of worried about that, but
sure.
Oh well.
That's understandable. It's your mom.
Yeah.
When was
She
the
doesn't
last time
even know
you
her
talked to
parents
her?
are dead.
Oh, she doesn't know at all?
No, she doesn't know her parents are dead.
When was the last time you talked to her?
Probably 2-3 hours before I snapped my phone, I called her.
Okay.
She was pretty much the only person I didn't tell the real story to.
Okay.
I told her I was on the run. And a few of my friends, I was like, "Oh, I sold the truck and just left."
Sure.
A couple of them, "Oh, I killed my grandparents." "Oh, well, let me come over to the house and loot."
Isaiah's story seemed to be rather jumbled, but this could be out of anxiety from the interrogation, or the fact that he knows he is caught and there's no way out at this point. When the first detective enters the room again, he begins to question Isaiah's tale regarding his apprehension.
Damn!
Why you run from the cops? What were you afraid of?
One of my friends in CR told me that they were going to handle me extremely roughly because I did what I did.
I think you can tell a sign of a liar, right? I think I actually noted this from a different video from Explore With Us, is when they take, when they take brief pauses before they speak, like they're trying to collect their thoughts. And I think that's a sign of a liar. You lie. I mean, of course, there's liars that don't need time to think. They just naturally lie. But it's now at this point, I don't believe anything Buddy says. And it seems like he just thinking of stories now, just to sound cool. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get tased or...
Sure.
I just wanted to get shot.
Why'd you want to get shot?
So that I wouldn't have to get myself.
Okay. Why didn't you want to get yourself?
Because it was too damn hard. It just didn't work, ever.
Just didn't work.
Never works.
Okay.
I just think God wants me here for some damn reason.
Okay. Why do you think then it was okay to shoot your grandparents but not yourself? I mean, that's a tough question to ask, right?
Yeah.
I know it's a sign.
It wasn't okay.
It wasn't okay, was it?
Hi, I'm Jake McCambley. I'm 29 years old. I studied psychology for 4 years. I live in Jackson, New Hampshire, and I'm a software engineer.
Dude is lost.
However, his claim about wanting to get shot is incongruent with his behavior of coming forward with his hands up when he was surrounded by police. Isaiah may be once again looking for sympathy from the detective by saying that he wanted them to kill him. Despite Isaiah's confession of his actions before, during, and after the shootings, he still has yet to state exactly why he killed his grandparents.
Did you look outside to see if any of the neighbors lights?
Yeah.
Okay, how come? Well, I mean, why'd you look outside?
Because I took a shower and packed everything up. I wanted to make sure no neighbors would like, "Call the cops, holy shit."
Did you watch? I mean, did you check yourself did you see if you got any blood on you or anything?
I had nothing on me.
Nothing? I mean, did you look
I was
yourself in the mirror?
I was far enough away to a point where nothing, like all the stuff they all went that way, and I was this way.
Okay.
I mean, there's probably some traces of guts and brains on my feet because I kept stepping on people, and it was really gross feeling.
What were you, were you barefoot when you shot him? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you haven't washed your feet or anything since then? Okay.
Well, no, I did take a shower at my therapist. Scratch that.
This negates Isaiah's previous statement that he took a shower at his house immediately after the shooting, and is yet another hiccup in his story. He goes on to explain how his therapist, Candace, is his aggression replacement therapy teacher, and is one of the few responsible adults in his life, if not the only one. Later, however, exactly how Isaiah arrived at her home following the crime will be uncovered, and it only goes to show that wherever Isaiah was, trouble wasn't too far behind.
What's aggression replacement treatment?
How not to do stupid shit that gets people besides me hurt.
Okay.
Like how not to hurt people around you.
Okay.
I'd pass the class the week this happened.
You've been doing pretty good in the class? Good. Okay.
Isaiah states that he took the rifle, 12-gauge shotgun, and TV to Brandon's apartment in Cambridge, where the friend was allegedly going to buy the guns. Supposedly, Isaiah was never compensated. As a result of Brandon's involvement, Isaiah has some concerns.
I know they're probably going to be in jail for a while for this. Are they going to go to the same building as me?
I have no idea.
Because that's what I'm really, really worried about.
I have no idea. I saw Brandon earlier.
Really?
Yeah, I told you we were talking to your friends.
What'd you talk to them about?
We were trying to find you.
Where'd they say I was?
Where you were at. They didn't know where you were at. So,
you said where'd they say I was?
Did they know where you were at?
Oh, yeah.
The whole time?
Oh, yeah. I was in contact with them every single day.
Okay.
This fool just snitching on him. I think it's funny how he's saying he's concerned about whether they're going to the same building, but he's willing to expose them. It's like...
With what?
My phone.
The detective informs Isaiah that he is well aware that the teenager's cell phone had abruptly been shut off during the course of events on Sunday, May 13th. But he wants to hear from Isaiah just how that came to happen.
One of my friends sent me a picture of the crime scene and told me I killed my grandparents, so I snapped my phone in half so they couldn't trace it.
Okay.
I'm not a stupid person.
I know you're not.
I'm a very smart criminal.
You are.
I've got a criminal mind.
Okay.
I do.
This is likely a sign of narcissism, as Isaiah may see himself as superior.
You're a smart
and more
criminal. You wouldn't have got caught, my boy. What is you talking about?
Clever than other people. And once again, the detective portrays a sense of admiration, which is likely to play into Isaiah's narcissism and keep him talking.
Built that way?
I've got it in everything, man.
So when you say you're talking to these guys, when you're kind of on the run, before you broke your phone, are you texting them? Are you communicating with them on Facebook? What are you doing?
Texting, calling.
Okay. You got any access to the internet on your phone?
It was a flip phone. I was tweeting a storm up, though, and I think I updated my Facebook status a couple times through, you can text it to Facebook.
Oh, okay. What were you updating on your Facebook?
I don't know what was on Facebook, but I know I was tweeting a bunch of random... This old black dude said that was really high, and I thought it was hilarious.
Isaiah did in fact contact his friends following the murders, even confessing to one of them his additional crime of theft, texting a stolen Chevy Avalanche. Cham. His friend's response, a simple LOL, followed by Isaiah's chilling return, I'm nuts. Along with this, Isaiah began to post alarming statements on Twitter, starting on May 11th, the same day of the murders. Isaiah stated, no excuses, no apologies, followed by, I'm dying. But his next quote was even more horrifying, as it was posted around the same time as the violent shooting was committed. At 12:10 a.m. on Saturday, May 12th, he wrote, time to live my life. The detective switches gears by inquiring about Isaiah's run-in with law enforcement on the early morning of Sunday, May 13th. You'll recall that this was the day Rick and Janet's bodies were found, 2 days after they were shot. Apparently, Isaiah had been driving two girls around Iowa City in the previous hours, making several appearances at nearby parties. As the night was coming to a close, they stopped at the Fast Break convenience store located on Naples Avenue, and someone in the group allegedly tried to open the locked doors of the business, thereby issuing an alarm trigger. When police arrived, Isaiah and his passenger supposedly denied any involvement, but police would later claim they were indeed lying. Not only that, but Isaiah failed to provide a valid license, as his was previously suspended for an unknown reason. In an attempt to cooperate, the passengers allegedly notified the officers that Isaiah was hiding drugs in a duffel bag within the vehicle, along with a hunting knife. But Isaiah denied permission for law enforcement to search his truck, and instead told them that he had various drugs stashed away. Isaiah was quickly taken into police custody, where it was discovered that he launched another string of abnormal tweets. At 6 a.m. on Sunday, May 13th, he posted, "Damn, can't wait to get out of the cop shop. Hashtag 6 unnecessary hours." Numerous others are too explicit to read, but nonetheless, Isaiah was not afraid to say what was on his mind. As he tweeted away on his phone at the police station, officers notified Isaiah that he could only be released upon the authorization of a legal guardian, since he was underage. The teenager swiftly realized that this was a massive issue, as his 2 legal guardians were, thanks to his doing, no longer alive. According to him, he lied and told law enforcement that his grandparents had been in Minnesota on a fishing trip and had limited cell phone service, but they would be able to get in contact with his mother. Sure enough, Stacy allowed Isaiah to be released and handed over to his therapist, Candace, where Isaiah supposedly ate sausage, eggs, and hash browns and took a shower. Not too long after his short-term stay at her house, Candace seemed to find a shocking object within her residence and thought that it may have belonged to her patient, Isaiah. Immediately, she contacted the local authorities without his knowledge.
Let me ask you this, is we got a call from her today. Was there any reason that there was a .40 caliber round that was found up there?
Mm-mm.
Nothing? Did you have a handgun on you at all?
No, sir.
No .40 caliber rounds?
You can lie detect me for that. No,
okay.
Sir.
Okay, so a .40 caliber round that would have been found up there.
Where was it found?
In her house.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, sir.
Not from you?
No, sir.
Okay. You're sure?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Although the .40 caliber round was identified at Candace's home, it has never been confirmed as to who it belonged to. Isaiah states that his stay at his therapist's house lasted a mere hour and a half before she supposedly drove him back to the Cambridge apartments, where he met up with a girl named Alicia.
Fishing Booker makes booking a fishing trip easy.
Howdy, folks. This story kind of confusing.
My name is Michael Reed.
Because they said she called the authorities, but how did she drive him back home? Like, wouldn't they have apprehended him?
Did anybody even try to go to my phone records?
That's one of the things that we commonly do, is we try and get phone records.
Yep. And if you have murder charges or something, felony like that, you can get phone records like that.
But how do you know that?
I know everything.
I know, but how do you know that? I mean,
This fool be like kind of bigging him up. He said, "Yeah, how do you know?" Like, it's only making him more cocky. He said, "I know everything." Hey, you like 17 years old, bro. You just now experiencing life. You know it. Nothing.
Researching it.
I know a little bit of everything about everything, honestly. Like, you learn something new every day.
Sure.
Isaiah appears to possess several narcissistic traits, such as being egotistical and having a grandiose sense of self. He views himself as a very smart criminal, which is incredibly ironic given that he was arrested so soon after the crime and is currently being interrogated.
Let me look back at my notes here, make sure I'm not missing anything.
If you want, I can look through them and tell you if you missed anything.
I bet you could.
It's possible that Isaiah is once again implying that he thinks he's smarter than the detective and could more easily find any mistakes. He's also likely very curious about what the detective has been writing down about him. But of course, the detective does not allow this to happen.
So who all do you think you've told about this?
Brandon? He told everyone.
Before? Or afterwards?
I don't know when he started texting people, but
okay.
I got so many goddamn phone calls about, "Oh, did you kill your grandparents? I heard you killed your grandparents."
Get a little out of hand after a while.
Oh, I started freaking out on people.
When they took you into custody down there, when they finally got you, did you say you were proud of what you did?
It could be a red flag for deception that Isaiah's way of responding has changed from talking at a normal volume to suddenly shaking his head rapidly and responding quite softly.
Okay, we heard that you said, "Hey, I'm proud of what I did, and you know, I got what's coming to me."
No, what I said when I got out of the car is, I thanked them for apprehending me.
Okay.
And that they did their jobs right, and I thanked them for not tasing me or letting the dog eat me.
Okay. Okay. Somebody had told us that you'd... And not that this...
Somebody must have heard me wrong.
Okay.
I actually did thank them. And told them I respect them a lot for what they did.
Okay. And did you say, "Hey, dude, I know what I got coming"? And I told them I deserved what I got coming to me. Okay. Thanked them for apprehending me. Because you understand what you did with your grandparents. Okay. And it wasn't anybody else that did it. It was you. Yep. Right? There was nobody else in that house with you. Okay.
The detective has been concealing a rather large piece of information that goes to show that the killer teen had not been completely honest so far.
You know, essentially at the end of the day, you know, and I was going to show you a picture of the gun. Would that be the gun? Kind of a dark picture.
Yes, it is. How'd you know?
I know lots of things.
Now he trying to
get cocky. Is that the gun that you used?
Bro.
Okay. You guys have this gun, don't you?
Mm-hmm. How? You said earlier that you're pretty smart. We're pretty smart at what we do.
Obviously.
We do good work.
Oh, you traced my phone calls and my text messages and figured out Brandon had it. Yeah.
We ended up with the gun.
That's what counts. Okay.
Prior to the shooting, Brandon had offered advice to Isaiah on how to use the rifle, which ultimately ended the lives of Janet and Rick. Additionally, the pair discussed other ways to kill the victims. The morning of May 13th, Isaiah told Brandon that he could break into his grandparents' home and take whatever he wanted. When Brandon arrived, he snuck into the home, but supposedly left in a hurry and didn't notify the local authorities as he was allegedly nervous about the situation. Brandon eventually sold the rifle to another friend, but the gun was turned over to the police once the bodies were discovered. Still, the question of why has yet to be answered, but as Isaiah reveals what drove him to commit the ultimate crime, he loses all control.
I don't know what built up in me. I just had so much stress.
Like what?
My grandma was dying of cancer. My grandpa called me a piece of shit every night of my life and every day. He constantly told me to just...
All right, let me ask this right now. Do y'all feel sorry for him? It's kind of hard to feel sorry for Buddy, right? Because it's like he picks and chooses when he wants to display remorse. And you could tell he's been lying this whole time. The story's been off. It's not really in tune. He been real cocky about his crimes and his IQ and his ability to understand things and be, you know, a step ahead of the police. So I ain't got no type of remorse for dude. I don't really respect it at all. I can never respect anybody who kills somebody, you know what I'm saying? At that sense, like, especially senselessly is what I'm trying to say. A senseless killing. You always can one can always defend themselves, you know what I'm saying? But
roll off the earth. They treated me like... I tried so hard to help my grandma with everything, but my grandpa made everything so hard because he'd always stress me out, scream at me for no reason, and I didn't know what to do anymore, so I just snapped. Shot both of them and stole the truck.
Okay.
If Isaiah's claims are true, this type of long-term verbal and emotional abuse from his grandpa would have been extremely damaging. However, it's important to keep in mind that he could be lying in order to provide a justification for his actions. After all, he doesn't say that his grandma was abusive, and he still killed her as well. We also cannot verify any of these claims.
What did she, and why did you shoot Grandpa first?
I hate it.
Why?
He's made my life a living hell.
Okay. How long had you been thinking about doing that?
That one day.
That one day?
That one day.
Okay. Nothing before, because...
Well, I had thought, but I never really made a plan.
Okay, when you say thought, what kind of things are you thinking?
I wanted to kill my grandpa, but I never wanted to hurt my grandma.
Yeah.
It's just, I could have just left her there. did it.
Want to join the six-figure club? Google and other tech companies are hiring hundreds of thousands of workers.
Isaiah's legs are shaking, possibly from the anxiety of being questioned or reliving the trauma of committing a violent crime. If he had previously been a danger to himself as he claims, this could also be the cause of his notable trepidation.
Okay, and did he see it coming?
He didn't even notice.
I mean, where was he
He was
looking?
so drunk and high on his Oxycontin and hydrocodone,
Okay.
he didn't even know where.
Let me do this if I can. If you stand up real quick.
Yes, sir.
If I'm your grandpa sitting over on the couch like he, are we this close?
He was sitting like this,
Okay.
kind of down like that. I was right about here on the stairs.
Okay, so is he hunched over? Is he asleep?
Yeah, no, he's just out of it
Just like
on his
this.
drugs.
'Cause he
Yeah, he was hunched
like
over
this.
like. Oh, I was on the 4th or 5th stair down at first, so I could see his hair from there. When I took the first shot, I took one step up, a stair up, so I could see his whole head shot.
Where
And
the first
then-
shot hit him?
First shot straight through his head,
Right here.
right temple.
Okay. Right temple?
Oh no, like right in the temple.
Oh, right in the temple.
Yeah.
Okay. And what'd he do?
Smacked his face off the coffee table.
Okay. So when you're coming up the stairs, did you kind of sneak up the stairs a little bit?
I was like,
This fool.
How come?
I didn't want him to hear me.
Okay. Okay.
And then, like, as soon as
And where's Grandma?
I took this step right here, Grandma would be like 3 feet to the side
That
of you.
way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and I stepped up the first stair, took the shot, stepped up the second stair, took 2 more shots.
Hey, Grandma.
By demonstrating how the killings occurred, the detective is solidifying the fact that this shooting was not in self-defense or in any way provoked by his grandparents.
Grandma treated me terribly. Nobody would ever believe it. He's assaulted me before. He's done so many different things wrong to me.
Okay. But he didn't do anything to you that night.
And it's just, I could never report any of it. Because my grandma would always vouch for him and make me look like the bad one. Like, he'd smoke pot with me. And I'd tell it to the cops. And he'd just be like, nope, never happened.
Notice that Isaiah's hands are palm up as he talks, which is known as the rogatory position. When someone holds their hands in this way, they may be pleading with the other person to believe what they're saying. The rogatory position indicates low confidence, so if someone makes a statement that they know for a fact is true, their body language should reflect high confidence.
When I got busted for paraphernalia, when I got put on probation, that was his pipe. I tried so many times to tell the cops that, but they were like, it's in your room. And I was just like, it was his though.
Okay.
The detective handles a question raised by Isaiah that is sure to come as a complete surprise.
Has their funerals been held yet?
No, I don't think they have, Isaiah. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Would there be
anything
any
about the
way I'd be able to go to
Just
them?
asked.
That I couldn't tell you. And I'll tell you. I don't know.
Has their funerals been held yet?
No, I don't think they have, Isaiah. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Would there be
anything
any
about the
way I'd be able
funerals.
to go to them?
That I couldn't tell you. And I'll tell you, since you're shooting straight with me, I doubt it. Okay. I don't know. I don't make that call.
Well, I don't want my family to kill me anyways.
Okay.
Although we are able to hear from Isaiah throughout the interrogation, he spoke with us in an exclusive, never-before-heard interview where he expanded on the alleged abuse and gave us a deeper look into what he now believes led to that fateful day.
There wasn't any, like, in my head, there wasn't any make it to 18. I've gotten shot twice before I was 17. I didn't think I was going to be around that long. That wasn't a thought. I had no regard for my life whatsoever. Everything I did was so obviously a cry for help that it didn't make sense. And nothing good happened. Nobody tried to help, nothing. So in my head, I was like, all right, I'm on my own, so I'm just going to, I don't know, like, what do I do? And then once I'm on house arrest, like, you can't even get away from the problem at this point. So how do you eliminate the problem? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that other people failing me throughout my life is the reason I did it. At the end of the day, I'm the reason I did it. I chose to do what I did. But a lot of things could have happened if I would have had options.
Isaiah explains the alleged abuse that he endured at the hands of Rick and Janet.
We had those kind of interactions where I'm like, hey, like they'd call the cops, and I'd be like, he literally just hit me, and I defended myself. What am I supposed to do? Or, like, he had a bunch of plants in the backyard, and they knew about it. And they were like, oh, that's just ditchweed. Just leave that alone. They just pulled the plants and left them alone. And there was a few occasions where I was like, okay, he assaulted me, like literally. And my grandma would be like, nope, didn't happen that way. He hit him first. And they'd be like, well, if you press charges, you're both going to go to jail because they both say that you did it first. And it's their word against yours. No one's going to listen to a dumb kid. Who cares about the kid, right? Doesn't matter if a 15-year-old's getting his ass kicked. That's irrelevant.
His claims about his feelings toward his grandmother seem to be ever-changing. During this particular account, it seems he's placing at least some of the blame on her, which is in contrast to his statements during his interrogation.
I wanted to kill my grandpa, but I never wanted to hurt my grandma.
She was a mega enabler, and the verbal abuse and the emotional abuse was from her. She was the one that was doing a lot of the screaming, and like she'd always back him up. And like, great example, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave. And she's like, I wish you would have just ended up yourself and making it work. It would have been a lot easier on us. Like she'd say shit like that.
Well, I don't want to just tell my story because it'll help me get out. Because obviously I know that. That's one of the first.
He had to have some type of like, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily call it motive, but he had some type of issue with his grandma. I mean, like you said, if he didn't want to hurt her, he wouldn't have done it. But that was coming from a certain place. And now he's really exposing the fact that she was really like, she was more so the verbal abuse in the family.
But the first thought, the initial thought is this could help a lot of kids. Like if some kid that's 16 years old is getting his ass beat, hears me talk about it and how it feels to be alone, and it helps them, and they actually go and talk to somebody about it, then that's worth telling my story. That's worth reliving all the points. Like, the biggest thing I want to do with my life, I want to be an advocate for at-risk youth, because I feel like if somebody would have just talked to me and really understood what I was going through and been like, hey, I get that, like, but you're okay, like, you're not by yourself, I think that probably would have changed a lot, because the hardest part about it was feeling like I was alone.
Today, Isaiah has seemingly found a new path, even accomplishing some rehabilitative programming, along with achieving his career readiness certificate. His co-conspirator, Brandon Allers, took a plea agreement to testify against Isaiah and was sentenced to 18 years in prison for his part in the horrific murders. This story doesn't end here, though. When police were finally able to search the grandparents' home, they allegedly found numerous internet searches on one of the computers, locating various methods on how to kill someone. In another sickening find, according to news sources, authorities supposedly uncovered inappropriate photos of children. The pictures were allegedly found under the grandfather's account, but nothing else has ever been revealed about the horrendous discovery. During Isaiah's trial, a clinical psychologist testified that during the time period of the crime, Isaiah possessed the emotional maturity of a 12 to 14-year-old. But this did not stop the killer from facing the inevitable consequences. Initially, Isaiah was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. But in an unexpected turn of events, the judgment was overturned. After 4 years behind bars, Isaiah was resentenced to life in prison with a chance at parole, without a minimum incarceration time. This means that there is no telling when or if he will be released.
Nah, he ain't getting out. That right there is Explore With Us, reacting to when a teen killer is excited to reenact his crimes. I know Buddy was too excited to just go into details. Like, bro, you doing too much, you know? Condolences to the ones lost their lives, you know? Very unfortunate where you got basically, you know, these instances to where it's like, you know, kids and they killing their grandparents and goofy stuff like that. But let me y'all start this in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next video. We out.